associated with brought me to a house off 44th and Josephine, which is right off I-25 and I-70. 2 blocks from I-70, exactly. There lived a man named Antonio. He spoke no English, and he lived alone. He offered me to stay. It was cool at first. I would get high all day, and I would listen to these people conversating and not know anything that they were saying. But I picked up really, really fast. I turned 15 with him. He made me his girlfriend. Told me he loved me. Fed me food, maybe. Mostly drugs. Not long after, he started bringing people over and making deals with them for me to have sex. They were to pay him, I wouldn't see the money. And I wasn't okay with the fact that these people pulled me into the room and tried making me doing these things. I was unaware he was being paid. It was traumatizing. I found out later Antonio's whole setup. I was always comforted in his arms afterwards, and him saying, "It's okay, and I'm so sorry." He started beating me because I would fight back. I'd fight because I didn't want to. I would tell him I loved him, so he knew he had the power. I tried running once or twice, but he caught me, and the beatings only got worse. He would tie me to the bedpost and let his customers have their way with me. That's when I began cutting, to release endorphins. I was suffering so much on the inside that I just wanted it all out. Getting high wasn't working anymore. At the time, I didn't know why I was cutting my skin. I just knew that it felt really good. It was taking me out of this reality that I was suffering. I wore the cuts like I wore my image. I didn't care what anyone thought. My life was already miserable. I guess a neighbor must have heard me screaming or something. Law enforcement came in and then discovered he was a 32-year-old man. He was only charged with drug paraphernalia for a crack pipe. But when I had 2 black eyes, they asked me, but I said nothing. I was afraid he would find me. They were asking me, with him sitting right across the room, staring at me with his devilish eyes. I spent time in a juvenile facility called Cleo Wallace. It helped for the most part. I went back to my parents at about age 17, and I met a man and a wife named Phoebe and Mark Walker. I started drinking with them, smoking pot, and I found out not long after that they smoked methamphetamines. This was never really my drug of choice. It reeled me in. He started showing me ads on Craigslist of women that he had posted already, of such services. Back to the game I found myself. He took my picture, made an ad, and before I knew it, I was on the internet. I did it once or twice and expressed I wanted something different. We were on a 60%, 40% deal. Of course, I was only getting 40%. After I was in for a couple minutes, he would go in and beat up the customer, grab cash, and we would leave. I started to see how dangerous he really was. I seen him beat a woman with a golf club. She was a quarter of his size. You gotta remember, this man is 6 feet tall, 250, 300 pounds. I was terrified of him. Law enforcement caught keen to him, and I thank God every day for sending them to save me, and the many women that he would have victimized if he wasn't behind bars. To this day, I suffer. Hang on, I lost my story. I suffer extremely with post-traumatic stress disorder, and it keeps me revolving into a pattern, into a revolving door. I still find myself returning to alcohol and drugs to help forget. Just recently, I found myself falling so deep that I actually stuck up a needle. That's what my brother died from. I always swore I would never touch it. But there I go, just to forget these horrible memories that haunt me every single day. I figured that it's so powerful and so many people like it. Why not just try? But it's never just once. I think if I was able able to utilize a program like the one we're here for tonight, I may have had a better opportunity of getting my life back on track before it had gotten to this point. Sometimes I think it's unrepairable, yet I keep faith. Hoping and helping the next generation is all I can do to overcome the pain